But as much as I want to help, I found myself in trouble too.
Wow. When did I get in? I think my first trouble. See, you got in trouble early. I didn't get in trouble until maybe I had about. I mean, it could have been 30,000 subscribers. So you are advanced.
Yes, I'm in
You are
trouble.
you are advanced. How are you in trouble?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share my screen. There there's a young lady YouTuber, and shout out to the female content creators in this space because you know that's the only way, in my opinion, that we can move these things forward is to have varying points of view.
Yeah.
And we're not going to always agree, and that is fine. And one of the reasons that we're not going to always agree is because based on maybe our age, our life experiences,
Yeah.
cultural differences, it's just going to be different. But I think it's important to respect those differences. So, because you were already in trouble, lead, you're already in trouble.
Been in trouble.
About Miss April Mason, you're already in trouble. And this young lady, I'm going to share my screen here. Her name is Chantel Simone.
Yes.
Okay. She did a reaction video to April Mason, to your video with April Mason, and she's talking about toxic femininity and the traits of April Mason's points. And she was talking about, and I don't know if you've seen it, that stuck in the past, and April Mason's trying to shame all Black men, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't necessarily agree with that because do you remember a point in the interview or the talk with April that she mentioned that people want us to go back in the 40s and 50s, and she says she's not really wanting us to go back that far because in the 40s and 50s, women didn't have as many resources as it relates to making their own money, et cetera, et cetera. So they had to stay in marriages, whether they were healthy marriages or not, they had to. So she wants us to go back to what I gleaned from it. And I'm not putting words in her mouth, but what I gleaned from it, she said, definitely we need to go back in certain areas, but not all the way back there to the 40s and 50s. So what I wrote, and I'm going to look at it here. I'm going to bring it up. I wrote, read your history, young lady. A man of any race.
Wait. Read your history, young lady.
I did.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
I thought this was going. Okay.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
And I said, read your history, young lady. A man of any race could legally beat their wife until the laws were changed in the 70s. I was born in 67. And I wrote, how does Miss Mason explaining what she saw her mother experience equate to shaming all men? Is that a fair question?
Yeah. Was she talking was she talking about you in the video?
No, not yet. That's later. This is before the video. The video came today. This was 3 years ago. I mean, this was 3 days ago.
Okay. Let me say this. And I don't know what you're gonna say. I'm gonna try to call this fair. All right. I'm gonna try to call this fair. All right. Listen. Sometimes trouble will find you, and then sometimes we can kind of go looking for trouble. All right.
Oh, like when I said young lady.
Well, I thought read your. What did you say? I can't see it.
I said read your history, young lady.
Read your history, young lady. That's not. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. Mm-hmm. But if I'm gonna be honest, TJ, the tone is a little bit off. The tone is a little bit off. To be honest,
I can receive it.
Okay.
I can receive it.
Okay.
I can receive it. Okay. But wait, there's more. She writes, my heart goes out to old women like yourself.
Oh, see this? Oh, God.
Who are stuck in your hurt and trauma.
Jesus.
So I write, even though my grammar was kind of messed up, but I think she got the gist of it. I said, no need, sweetheart.
Sweetheart. What? Okay. You're going.
I'm 54. Okay, she's young enough. I'm assuming she's young enough to be my kid. But right. I know you're right. But you're right. Okay, I was wrong. But anyway, moving on.
Okay.
I said, I acknowledge my hurt, but am not stuck in it. I've done my work, and after making many mistakes, I'm happily married, and I wish the same for you.
If you took out the sweetheart thing, there's nothing wrong with that. I like that. That's nice. What you put was 100% fair if you take out the sweetheart thing.
Okay. So that now you have the background.
Okay.
Now let's move forward to today, shall we?
Oh gosh.
This is the video that was just brought to my attention before, about 30 minutes before our stream here.
Okay.
And it's about moi.
Look at you. It took me 30,000 subscribers to get where you are right now. You are blazing a trail.
But that's not what I'm here for. But let's get into it, shall we?
Okay.
And this was influenced by a comment I received on the video. I talked about the toxicity of Miss April Mason's talking point, because Miss April mentioned that men were abusive in the 1940s and 50s. And this young lady had commented very similar talking points. And I'll post a comment right here as I.
So I'm a young lady now. Let's continue.
If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to help me grow my channel. Now the comment reads, read your history, young lady. A man of any race could legally beat their woman until the laws were changed in the 70s. I was born in 67. How does Miss Mason explaining what she saw her mother experience equate to shaming all men? To answer the question, all right, how Miss Mason explained what she saw equates to shaming all men, because we're still bringing it up. It's 2021. If we want to move forward, if we want to see better, we want to do better, we are going to have to enter relationships with men in good faith. We can't enter relationships thinking of what men in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s did. We can't enter relationship holding that over our men in 2021.
Okay, so listen, what are your thoughts thus far on what you've seen?
I kind of want to hear your. Okay, I'm not sure you guys are talking about the same thing, because
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because when she says, "Listen, let's not," the guys that are here now are not the guys that were there in the 40s and 50s. I mean, that's a true statement, right? Because I'm old and I was born in the 70s, right? And when she says, let's enter relationships in good faith, and let's not assume that the traumas that happened in the past are going to be the same traumas that we're going to get into in our present relationships. I think that's a fair statement too, and I think a lot of times people in the well, I'll just say that I think it's a fair statement, but I'm not sure. I didn't hear anything that you said that I didn't feel was a fair statement either. So I'm not sure you guys are talking about the same thing.
But what I find interesting as I'm learning in these YouTube spaces, people twist stuff.
Yes.
Because I did not say that the men of today, nor did I write the men of today are the same men as in the back that were in the 40s and 50s. What I asked was that she still did not really, in my opinion, if she did, please square me away, that she still did not answer. I asked, what does Miss Mason's account of what she saw her mother experience equate to shaming all men?
Yeah. Is that what she said? Did she say that April Mason's account of her mother equated to shaming of all men? Did she say that?
In the first video, she's talking about shaming all men. And that's why I asked the question, how did April Mason explaining what she saw her mother's experience, how did that equate to shaming all men? And I asked a question.
Here's the thing. I'm again, I'm kind of confused about it, but if she said that April Mason's account of what her mother lived through was shaming all men, then I totally, I don't understand how that would be the case. All right. what I suspect is that she would say, I never said that April Mason's account of shaming all men, April Mason's account of what her mother meant through, equated to shaming all men. I don't know. That would just be a weird statement to make, right? Because
Yeah.
April Mason probably talks about a lot of things, and it
She
could
did.
very well be that when she thought that April Mason was shaming all men, it could have been for maybe another reason, another part of the video.
Well, and it's possible because again, I did look at the video as to what she was, and that's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
Because even in looking at the whole clip that you did, I didn't see how it equated to shaming all men. That's why I asked her the question. Now, I will concede that maybe I should have left the read your history, sweet young lady part out of it. I'll give her that.
Also, did she say that April Mason was shaming? Did she use the word all, or was that your
She said
word?
shaming black men.
Okay, because she was definitely shaming black men. She wasn't shaming all black men. But she was definitely, I mean, she was shaming me. She was shaming Kevin Samuels. She was trying to shame. It seemed to me that she was trying to shame men who did not support her.
No,
Because
I'm talking about in your first video with her, not her reaction to that. I'm talking about your first interview when she came on. When
okay,
the
okay.
byproduct one.
Okay.
That's the
There's so
video.
much stuff floating around.
I know, right? Let's take the focus off of this young lady. But the question: how do you deal with stuff like that when you feel that people or whomever are taking what you're trying to put out of context or trying to? Good heavens! Now look,
No, you're fine.
let me get my dog out of here. I don't know what he's doing. Just about.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. And I will, the first thing that I typically do, and I think this is kind of where it initially started downhill, was when I talk to content creators, I am always aware of my tone, right? Because tone is very important. And especially when you're writing, you have to be super nice just so that the tone isn't perceived by the other person as being aggressive or being an attack. And I see that in myself because sometimes people will write me and I will be like, why are you writing me this comment with such an aggressive tone? And so what I'll do is I will respond, but in a very nice tone. And do you know what? When they respond, invariably it's a super nice tone too. So, to me, it makes me think that, well, either they were really hot when they saw this, and now that a couple of hours has passed, when I respond, now they're in a different mental space. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe when I read it, I feel attacked. I'm like, hold up, what are you talking about? And it could,
Right.
when you started off, your tone was off. To be honest.
And I will receive that.
Okay. So now here's the thing. If we're building a foundation and the foundation has a huge crack in it, what can we really expect from everything that rests on top of the foundation?
It's going to fall.
If the tone starts off messed up,
I will agree.
then, you, not that you have to discount everything else that was said, but it's hard to, once the tone is messed up, it's hard to say, oh, well, let's analyze the structure of the house. Because it doesn't matter what the structure of the house is if the foundation is messed up. And so you say, well, what do you think about this argument? What do you think about that argument? But the whole conversation's tone was off. So kind of,
I'll
that's the
receive
only
that.
thing.
And see, that's the thing about me. I have no problem admitting when I am wrong or apologizing. I have no problem with that. And I will agree. I should have phrased it a little bit better. But here's the thing, Jonathan, I think you're wrong about Chantel. If we're being honest, you provoked her action. Okay, I receive that. The younger generation is just sick of
this, I don't remember I remember the Color Purple, but I don't remember the I don't remember the actual movie, right? I just remember it being a huge movie. I don't really remember like the plot of the movie. This could, I don't want to say this is a shot, right? But again, It comes from the fact, and this is actually a great lesson for all of us YouTubers. You can start something off, with a bad tone, and now there's a whole bunch of stuff that follows it, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff that now people start picking sides, people start defending other people, right? For example, my very first kind of beef, it wasn't really a beef, but it was a big misunderstanding. A misunderstanding was with Tommy Sotomayor. And we had a little misunderstanding, and then all of his people started taking sides and coming over and coming in, invading my chat. And so I can't, one specific person, he takes a shot at me. Well, why did he take a shot at me? Because he's defending Tommy Sotomayor, and maybe the thing got off, right? So this is kind of what happens. There are a lot of consequences. There's second order, third order, fourth order consequences when the tone isn't right. But I could absolutely see. I mean, listen, you are a mature woman. You are not in the habit of taking a lot of BS. You've got a military background. I can absolutely understand why you are more straightforward. I absolutely get that, right? And some people are straightforward, and some people, that they're more, they'll walk around the barn with you a little bit, and some people just want to go straight through the barn, right? And so a lot of times there's just misunderstandings with that. Like I said 15 minutes ago that I needed to leave, and that was 15 minutes ago. So but you guys still keep going. You guys still keep going.
Thank you so much, the lead attorney, for coming and giving me this opportunity, and also giving me some sage counsel, pointing out my errors, and I am going to address those right now.
You are awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I hit it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Is it Kay or?
Yes, sir. It's Kay.
Thank you so much, Kay, and thank you again, TJ, for having me up. I really appreciate it. Thank to everybody in the chat. I know I wasn't reading the comments, but I'm trying to be up here and focus on TJ and the conversation. Thank you to everybody. And again, y'all keep going, and I got to step out. But thank you so much again, TJ. Really appreciate it.
Salute to you, LA.
All right.
Okay, everyone. Real quick, I thank you all for tuning in, and I thank the TLA's subscribers that joined in. And one of the things about me, I have often said that I am never too old, too grown, too proud to admit that I'm wrong. So with that said, I'm going to address the situation with Miss Chantel, and if she is listening, or if you are subscribers to her, please pass this on to her. I will agree with the lead that my initial approach to my comment started off wrong, and I know that the way attitude brings about attitude. I can receive, I can understand, and I know that. So for that, I apologize. But also to that point, in addition to that point, if I felt the way I felt about what she put on her page, I didn't have to comment at all. And that's the truth about that. So I apologize for that too. Another thing, in this space, the goal is, when I say in this space, for the women that I have come to know and work with, the goal is for us to learn from each other, to learn from the things that we did well, to learn from the things we didn't do well. And me, as being an elder, I made many a mistake that kept me from finding the love of my life. But one of the reasons, not the sole reason, but one of the reasons I did start this channel is because I do want to help young women and seasoned women like myself, that if you want to be married, if you want to have a relationship, learn from the things I didn't do so well. And that is another reason that I have the conversations with women like Courtney Michelle, Lauren Melissa, Lucky Marie, and also my daughter, who I call my fruit, on Saturdays, because she can attest to that her mother couldn't show her how to be a wife because she wasn't one. one thing you will, if you choose to follow some of my content, I find it necessary to talk about not only what I did wrong, but possibly the reasons that I did them wrong, the reasons why. And that goes back to some of the things that the young lady was talking about, the mindset. It's a contributing factor. You know, the daddy issues that I've already talked about that I had, and you've heard, if you followed me, my dad even admitted to them. It's a contributing factor, but I did not sit in it. That's the problem, or the color purpling, if you will. Not to acknowledge what has been done, but to sit in and stay stuck in what has been done. Because only by asking yourself not just the what of your behaviors, but the whys of your behaviors, can you begin to correct the behaviors. So I will continue to talk about those things, and I will continue to invite women to share those things, because you can't get better for something that you don't acknowledge. And I am better now because I have acknowledged, I worked through it. Gratefully, I was able to do the work to, like what we talked about, me and Courtney Michelle, that I did the work. And instead of, I'm not going to say byproduct, but by me doing the work that I needed to do, enabled me to recognize the kind of man that my husband is and not let him get away from me. And to become the woman I've said I always wanted to be, but never allowed myself to be. So to the young lady, if she's listening, I apologize for coming to your house, i.e. your channel, to say something that did not serve any benefit. Because again, I can see what the lead is saying. When I said young lady, read your history, young lady, everything else probably wasn't even paid attention to. And I understand that. And it was wrong. It was wrong. So what I aim to do, like I said, I know I'm repeating myself, but you know, it's the Baileys. What I hope to do in working with the women that I've already talked about is to create a space and dialogue that we can learn from each other. Everyone doesn't aspire to be married. And even if you aspire to be married, you still may not be. I couldn't even guarantee it for myself, but I'm so much better. And I was better before I met him. And that's what we want. That's what we want. And we want to hold each other accountable, meaning, listen, like now, Terry, you was wrong. And own that you're wrong. So anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. This was fun.